Hey butterflies, welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Farrah Voltaire, and if this is your first time seeing me, hi, hello, welcome. Please go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to this episode. And if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, please go ahead and like, rate, and download this episode and share it with someone that you know needs it. So butterflies, hello, welcome back. We are here to talk about Dear Diary, the Cutoff, and I'm going to break down what all of this means in a minute. But before we get into the episode, please go ahead and follow me on Instagram at the Butterfly Diaries Podcast and email me at queenseriesmovement@gmail.com if you have any questions, concerns, or if you would like to help us sponsor an event or anything like that. Go ahead and go in the description below to find all that information. Okay, butterflies, let's get right into the episode. I don't want to hold you guys long because I really want you guys to get to the meat of this and to be able to process this entire episode before we leave for the day. So please, butterflies, get your pen and your paper. We're going to break things down. So Dear Diary, the Cutoff. All right. Oh my goodness. You know, I've been seeing this trend going on social media, and it's kind of like New Year, I'm leaving everybody in 2023. New Year, if you didn't make it to 2023 with me, all of this like cutting people off, cut it out. The cutoff is not the move, okay? Although some people you do need to really eject out of your life, like seriously eject them out of your life. We're in the season of forgiveness and restoring our hearts and healing in the right way. So because we are trying to do it the right way, I do want to go ahead and encourage you butterflies to just try your best to not allow bitterness and anger and angst to be the reason why you're cutting someone off or you're no longer going to be speaking to a person. Let it be logical. Let it be reasonable under the Spirit of God. I was listening to Pastor Michael Todd a few years ago, and he gave a few steps on how to release a person the God way. And one of the main things that stood out to me in those steps were to release them with a blessing. Always release them with a blessing. Always release someone with a blessing and not a curse on their name. Always leave with a good conversation and with a good taste in your mouth. If you're able to do this, right? This is also in the Bible. If you're able to do this, and sometimes most of the time you cut somebody off, it's a bitter situation. It's an angry situation. It's not a good end. One of the things I want to strive to do this year, butterflies, is if something is going to come to an end, if there's a reason for cutting off a person or a reason why the Lord is leading me to cut somebody out of my life, I want to end it well. I've matured and I've grown up enough to know that I didn't end some situations well. I walked out of some situations more bitter, more hurt, more angry, with so many more questions than I needed to, because I didn't do the work and I didn't have those right conversations. I just ghosted people. I just ghosted people. I was toxic. I ain't even gonna lie, I was toxic when it came down to ending certain situations, because I just didn't know how to have a conversation. I didn't know how to sit down with a person and say, hey, what you did hurt me. What you did caused me to not want to have dealings with you anymore. I feel like we can't be friends, or I feel like, it's probably better if we have different dealings, or we go our separate ways. I was never able to have that conversation with anyone. One, because of my anxiety, and two, because of past situations that have happened in my life, including my father, which I spoke about in the last episode. If you missed the last episode, please go ahead and watch the last episode. If you did miss that drop, go ahead and watch that. But yes, I did speak about my father and I's situation, and dealing with him and dealing with the things that I was struggling with. I realized that I did struggle with that very heavily, which was cutting people off. I cut him off. I was toxic with my own father. I cut him off. So growing up and realizing the effects of the way that I treated other people, and in the same moment, the way people treated me, I didn't like it. I didn't like being on the receiving end of being cut off. I didn't like to be on the receiving end of being ghosted. And I realized that, and I even remember having a conversation with one of my friends, and we had like a very long conversation regarding ghosting, and how that made us feel, and how we did not like it. It was like one of both of our pet peeves, to the point to where we made a promise to one another that we would never do that to each other. And we would always be able to talk about certain things, even in the hard times, which I'm so grateful for, because it helped me realize the problems that I was facing, and how to really trust people when they say they'll be there for you. Really trust people when they say that they'll hear you out, and giving them that chance to even explain their reasoning behind why they did what they did, or how come they did what they did. It's not always your perspective that fits the narrative, right? You always have to hear the other person out. Sometimes it's definitely difficult to do so. And I'm saying all this with a grain of salt, because there are situations where, like my father and I, where it is very, very hard to sit down with a person who's irrational, who just is stuck in their ways and does not want to change. But at the same time, try to fix what you can. And if you cannot, then don't. If you see that there's no point, then don't. Especially if it's going to put your life in danger, don't do it. But I do not want you butterflies to fall into the trend that is the cutoff. I'm cutting everybody out of my life. I don't want to deal with nobody. I'm a loner. I don't care. We need people. As much as we hate to admit that to ourselves, butterflies, we need people. I'm an introvert. I like being alone. I love my solitude. I love to be in my room locked up with my dog. I don't like to be around people. I love my peace. And so if I invite you into my world and you take advantage of that and it gets all discombobulated, it does become a problem for me. But I'm learning that that's okay too. Because your chaos entering into my world is for a reason. I'm able to go through your chaos with you and help you navigate it, and you can do the same for me. We need each other. We need humans. We need each other. We need community. We need it in order for us to become better people. It's how you perceive a thing that will help you understand who you are better. And if you perceive it negatively, you will have a negative outcome in your mind about it. But if you perceive it with a positive mindset, in the mindset of God, in the mindset of Christ, you'll be able to navigate it way better and heal from it way better, instead of just cutting people off and forgetting about them and treating them as if they did not carry any value in your life. There are people that I've cut off. There are people that I have ghosted that I think about all the time. And I wish I could reach out to them and even have a conversation, because they held value in my life. There was a moment where they disrespected me. There was a moment where I felt they hurt my feelings, and they probably didn't even know. And I cut them out. And now I'm missing out on parts of their life. They're missing out on parts of my life that we could have just been together, or we could have been cordial about. And it does hurt my feelings, because I'm like, I could have did this way better. And living a life of regret is something I do not want to do. I do not want to regret anything going forward. I want to make sure that everything I've done with intention, and being intentional about every single step that I take. But so I'm encouraging you right now that don't fall into the trends of the world. Don't fall into the trends of the world that are causing you to want to be bitter or more angry or malicious or nasty towards your neighbor or your friends or your brothers or your sisters or your mother or your father. Follow the trend of Jesus. Follow Christ's trend. Follow his footsteps. What did Jesus do in the face of his adversaries? What did he do when his own betrayed him? When Judas betrayed him? Follow the footsteps of Christ. Be better. Do better. So that this world can be just a little bit more better. We deserve, once again, butterflies, to be free from the things that are trying to bind us in this time and in this season. Bitterness, anger, angst, ill will, and maliciousness is not of God. But peace, love, virtue, integrity, understanding, true and utter understanding, those are the things of God. And it is so worth learning. so worth making those sacrifices towards, and so worth becoming. Do not allow the things of the enemy, the things of this world, to squeeze the best parts out of you like a lemon. But allow the Lord to cultivate the parts of you that need to be like a lemon pound cake. Mixing all the ingredients. Put that little glaze on the top. Let him make you sweet again. Where the bitterness and the nastiness has come to try to distort you and distort your flavor, allow the Lord to renew and restore you to that peaceful, kind person that you are. True to your core. Well, we're out of time, butterflies. And before we go, I did want to let you guys know a memory verse, which is 2 Corinthians 13 and 11. Read it on your own time. Get into the word, study it, and spend some more time with the Lord regarding this situation. Don't give up on you. Don't give up on you. Don't give up on the things that you're doing. Don't give up on what God is asking you to do for yourself, because all of this is pertaining to self. These last three episodes all work together for you to understand who you need to be in this next season, in this new season. All right, butterflies. So before we leave, please go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to this episode if you haven't already. And comment below. I will not fall into the trends of the world. That's all I want you to write in the comment section. Just write that in the comment section for me. Other than that, butterflies, I wish you guys the rest of your week to be well. And I will see you guys soon. But what do we do before we leave? Always fly high. See you next time. All right.